Greetings all you Nissan fans. I've had this Nissan IDx Concept Nismo car for quite a while, but I've never reviewed it because I was waiting to get the regular concept car. So let's start by reviewing the regular one and we'll come back to this Nismo version. Alright, this is brand new, Tomica Limited Vintage Neo. It doesn't really give like a part number, right? Anyways, let's open this guy up and then we'll take a closer look. I'm hoping there's no paint rash, but with this brand, you just don't know. Let's see if there's anything else on this box. It says 2014. Wikipedia says this car was on the 2013 show circuit. It was supposed to be influenced by... well, I don't see anything there. Alright, well anyways. Influenced by the Datsun 510 for the so it's supposed to be influenced by the Datsun 510 as far as its styling goes. Wikipedia says David Beasley and the Nissan Europe and Global Nissan Design Centers came up with this thing. Okay, so you got that little card. This one does have mirrors that you can stick on yourself, and maybe I will do that later because I did it on the other one, and I think they're going to be safe from being broken. Let's get this out of the blister here. So the concept of these IDX cars was Nissan's answer to the rear-wheel drive tuner craze. You know, people thinking about like Initial D, the Trueno, or the AE86, or the Subaru BRZ, the more modern renditions of a economical rear-wheel drive car. You know, that you can drift and tune and, you know, basically an inexpensive sporty car. Let's look at this rear view here. Seems okay, right? The wheels, yeah, they're pretty close. There's a front view. General proportions. I would say it looks pretty good. Alright, so the question is, why did Nissan not make this? Would you guys find this to be unattractive? I don't know if that's actually an attractive front end, but I kind of like it. It looks cool to me. Alright, starting with the model here, we have, let's see, like a metallic tan color. There actually is metal flake in this paint. And it's got some silver paint here for probably well, it looks like a real vent on the real car. There should be some black in there, but oh well. Silver here for the door handle, and there's a little bump there as well. Maybe that's like a key mechanism. So, oh, this is rare, at least for me. There's actually a brake system in this model. There's like a little ledge right here, so maybe that's supposed to be a caliper. It's kind of strange, and I see what's going on. I see these dots. There's 3 dots here. That's supposed to be the brake caliper, and then the rest of the rotor here is just smooth. I'm just so used to seeing cross-drilled brakes that I thought that was the rotor at first, but it's actually flip-flopped around. So here the caliper is right here, and then the rest of this rotor is like a different colored gunmetal texture, gunmetal color, whereas the caliper is like silver. So there is actually like black on the real wheels here, and it's unfortunate that TLV didn't add that. But they did add this gunmetal color down here, and that wraps up to the fender edges here. So that's kind of nice, really nice and thin. Alright, interesting styling going on. It's higher up here, comes down a little bit, kicks up. Sorry, get that finger cleaned up there. Let's see, there's a, darn it. So, it was brand new. Look at this paint rash, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. This model is from 2014 or 2015, so in 5, 6, 7 years, that's what happens. So, I say it again and again, TLV doesn't make anything that's meant to last. they simply don't comprehend how to paint stuff well enough to last a long time. So that's too bad. Okay, well, we got a weird checkerboard pattern here. I can't see the top view of the concept car, but it does look gray, so I'm sure that's accurate. These little holes are for the mirrors. We can get a peek into the interior. It looks actually pretty nice, this interior. Let me get the flashlight though. There's like silver, like a frame, and then the dashboard is the tan color, the center shift, and some other color in the center as well, like a blue. Then those seats have a crazy looking quilted pattern on it. And it's nice that this moonroof here is quite helpful. It looks like it's a dark blue, those seats. So it's not black, so that's good. Different color than, stands out a little bit from your other models. Yeah, that's actually one of the nicest interiors I've seen from TLV. So very nice. No additional color in the center of the steering wheel or the instruments, but it's molded nicely. Oh boy, now so look at this side. Again, the paint rash. This is horrible. You can't, that's just not cool. This thing's got like a rash, literally. It like drove through some poison ivy. Alright, well, that's too bad. So, word of warning, guys. If you can, buying TLVs blind you're at high risk. Yeah, it's always best to try to actually see the model before you buy it. Alright, well, this thing's so out of production that I didn't have much choice. Okay, so on the back here, what do we have? This looks like a Nissan outline, this badge. No actual text though, so that's too bad. Yeah, it looks like there's translucent red taillights and there's a little silver paint bisecting it. And it's nice to see something on the license plate, which is also pretty rare for TLV. Usually they're just blank white. So this one actually says IDx Freeflow. So it would be nice if they just printed on all their license plates, right? That looks normal to me. Alright, so this exhaust is not so great. It's just blanked off. Would have been nice to have some black printed there for the hole. This is a silver printed accent of some sort. I think it's chrome on the real concept car. Going to the front here. Yeah, the badge outline, but no printing. And then really cool headlights, clear plastic, and the way they molded it looks like there's LEDs back there. This is recessed in a little bit of black or something, or actually I think that might just be darkness. This is clear plastic and they painted the silver there. There is a texture here painted black, that's nice. So this is the gunmetal, this is also silver, and then look at this paint here on this corner. So that's not good either. Alright, my cat is next to me, so I might make some noise. Oh man, so now look at the paint rash here. And the paint rash here. The odd thing is, usually the roof of a diecast gets paint rash first, but this roof is plastic. So this plastic is part of this whole top canopy, I think, and they just painted it. So it's another reason why I kind of like resin models. They don't seem to have this problem. Some of them do, but percentage-wise, plastic models have less paint rash because I think the metal itself is outgassing on a cheap diecast. Diecast is a really cheap metal. It's a mix of different metals, actually. Okay, so it's riveted together. And it's got really nice tire treads, so that's nice. They are rubbery. And all TLVs tend to roll. You can hear the friction of the brakes, but it does roll. So this is too bad. It's a really cool concept car. The shape of this molding looks awesome. It's just that the paint itself is lacking quite a bit as far as its quality. Alright, let's get this one out. And here we go with the Nismo concept one. I think I got this maybe like a year ago. So naturally, we have nicer paint on this guy. It's much glossier. It's still a metallic white, and then it's got this tampo printing of these racing stripes, and it looks like a side exhaust here, and then brakes again. This time though, they have red calipers in the same location, and the rotors are silver. And I'm noticing these wheels have red in the center and then a little silver on the edges. So there's a lot of 3 different colors just on those rims. So it does lead to the question, why were they so lazy in not adding black into these wheels, into the middles? Number 80, Nissan. Some indication of some sort of rivet marks, but I'm sure it's just a styling element instead of real bolts. And then again, the different color here for the fender lip is nice. Carries across the whole bottom of the car. It's like a metallic gunmetal again. So now this one, it does have Nismo printed right there, nice and small, legible. A little red paint here. Going to the front, it has Nissan printed there, but no Nissan on the actual badge, so that's too bad. Some sort of printed on grille, and then different types of headlights with some printing and clear plastic, I think. I think this is clear plastic, but I think behind it is a graphic of black and silver. And then there's also white paint here as well. That's a really complex looking headlight. There's a grille texture in here. This side here looks identical to the other one. I put on the mirrors here. Since they're so small, I don't think they would break off very easily. So that's why I put them on. Now this cockpit is just as cool, if not cooler. It's got silver and black. Silver in the middle, and then this time around we have some reddish seats with a different texture than the last one. And the rear seats are maybe not even there, or they're very minimal. They're black. There's a red armrest there, and then unfortunately no additional gauges or anything like that. But still, it's another nice colorful interior from the brand, and this whole canopy is a clear piece of plastic, and then they painted on some other stuff. Although actually I think this might be a separate piece right here, this like wing thing here. I feel like that's separate. Looks like there's a gap between the parts. So you'll notice here this two-tone effect. The whole center is this dark charcoal metal. Unfortunately there's a bump of contaminant there. Going around to the back, clear taillights again with some white, or no, I don't know if that's white or silver in the middle of the backup. And then great, again, nice printing, something on the license plate. No Nissan printed there, but it is here, so that's good. A little red here for this reflector, and then a little diffuser. So this is again from the same year, I guess. And it's nice that they changed the text up. Same tires, it looks like. Little exhausts, I guess, there. Wait, that's kind of weird, right? No, they're not exhausts. That's just carrying across the diffuser strakes. Alright, it looks like this is much better. There's only that blemish right there. So you might be wondering, let's compare the two. What differences Nissan had. So let's get the tray of comparison out. Alright, so the front ends are quite different. You know, totally different light treatment, totally different grille. So it's a completely different front end. We have different wheels. And even, yeah, the top canopy is different. This has got this funky shape that the other one doesn't have. And then this has the fender flare bolt marks, or whatever they are. So the top view, this has a, like, I'm gonna guess has a vent. These are supposed to be powered by 1.2 to 1.8 liter 4 cylinders. This one has like a little bulge. It's a totally different hood. So only the trunk is identical, it seems. But so far, well, maybe it's not. So taillights are different. Actually, maybe the trunk, well, I think the trunk might be different. Because the taillights are totally different angle there. So, it's quite interesting that Nissan made two concept cars so different from each other. The only thing that's really being shared is probably the outline of the door cut and this this section of the car, which is you know, not going to change on most cars. There's a little vent on this one, but 2 vents on that one. Okay. Different skylights or clear roof segments. You know, different looks like speakers. Nothing there. This looks gutted. So, being a Nismo, I'm sure this is supposed to be the lightweight, sporty version, and this is the more normal street use version. Alright, let me get the spin thing here, and we'll compare it to a couple other models. So if this was styled after the 510, I do have 2 of those. I have the Konami one. Put that one there. And then I have a green light one, which kind of has this, you know, racing livery of similarity as the Datsun BRE with those stripes there. So I'm pretty sure, you know, this is copying that or influenced by the BRE livery. Now the question is, do they look like they're styled after the original 510? Yeah, what's really throwing me off is this whole kink in the side. You know, there's no indication of anything like that. Oh, see how there's a vent there? Maybe that's what they're trying to incorporate into that styling there. They do look like they have 4 headlights, so yeah, I guess that front end. Yeah, the taillights, I guess, are somewhat close. I think the overall proportions, though, are similar, just more updated. Alright, so I'm going to lose these 2. And I just want to pull out, because I have this Konami branded Nissan Silvia, and I kind of feel like there's a lot of the Silvia in the styling of this. The swept back coupe-like glass here is very similar looking to that. Still 4 headlights. But this is more of a rear cockpit, you know, being a sporty coupe. And then how the front end overhangs, whereas this same thing. So for me, I do feel like that's first Silvia has been a big influence as well. Alright. So, very cool cars that, you know, it's nice that TLV did them because it's just so random. I mean, it's just a concept car, right? And so, I think they look cool. But obviously the paint's a big problem with this brand. It's a serious problem. So this wasn't a cheap model. Neither of these models are cheap, right? But you can buy a $1 Hot Wheels that will last decades and the paint will never go bad. So it just really irks me that something that costs 20 to 30 times as much looks bad so easily. So like I kind of feel like Tomica needs to send some spies to the factory of Hot Wheels or the Matchbox factory and figure out how they paint stuff, right? This is just silly to me that you're going to charge such a premium price and then the thing just falls apart. So, it's too bad. Alright, well, I guess so the TLV bashing continues, but I think it's warranted. Right? If you're lucky, you'll get one like this one with no problems, but I would still say over half of my collection has these paint problems. So 50% failure rate is not good, no matter in any industry. What if you drove a real car and it had 50% failure rate? Or anything really. A ballpoint pen that fails 50% of the time. This company shouldn't really even exist. But they do make some funky castings, and so that's why I buy them. Alright guys, I'll catch you around in the next TLV review. Hopefully it'll be a little more positive, but you never know. Alright, see you around.